All right. So today we're going to go over how to review your own calls. So basically, best reps don't wait for feedback. We want to be able to basically listen back, score yourself, and find what you'll do differently on the next call. So this is going to talk about how to review your own calls. Obviously, when you first start out, you're not going to have enough experience to be able to do so confidently. So this will give you an idea of like what will be done with you initially, but then the idea is that as you make more calls, you go back and you listen to them. We also use basically we have a transcription that you can upload into either ChatGPT or Claude to be able to give you feedback, and you could look through what you've said on calls and look for areas to review. So let's go through this together. So the concept, why call review is one of the highest leverage things you can do. So why don't reps typically improve over time? They think about the call and they think they did say something or didn't miss anything, but they don't actually know how it went. So they can't hear their tone, their pacing, any hesitation in the moment. They miss a ton of breadcrumbs that the seller drops that they could have dug into. Uh, they move on to the next call without extracting anything from the last one. So you have a call. If you're not making changes call to call and adjusting, it's the same reason why athletes will watch game tape to figure out what they did wrong, what they could do better moving forward. And we want to be the same way with our calls. And then they think feedback only comes from the manager, not from themselves. Once you go through the training, you'll have enough information to understand what's a good call and what's a bad call, and especially either listening to the call and or seeing a transcript of the call. You can see when you ask about motivation, if someone says, I'm just tired, and then you're like, okay, sounds good. So like, what's next for you, right? It's like you didn't dig into that tired word and figure out what they were tired of, how long they've been tired, that sort of thing. So that's why we review the calls. So what does reviewing the calls actually do? So you hear exactly where the seller gave you an opening that you didn't take. So just as I mentioned, if someone says they're tired, you figure out like, oh, I could have asked questions here. And then the next time you hear that or you hear something similar, you're able to address it correctly. You can catch the moment motivation was on the surface and you move past it. So even if they say, I was tired, and you say, hey, when you were tired, what do you mean by that? And then they go on, and then you just move off of that too quickly, that's also where you can make an adjustment and make a change. You can identify which objections caught you flat-footed and you can prep for them. So let's say you realize that you're struggling with, um, I don't know, like, hey, make me an offer or some other objection. We could work on that and drill that over time. You'll build self-awareness faster than any training video can give you, right? You could watch training videos all day, but you need to actually do the work and you need to be able to review your own calls to figure out where you could improve. Over time, the last benefit is over time, you need the manager less. You become your own coach. So you're not going to run to me or whoever your manager is to say like, oh, what did I do wrong here? You'll come to me saying like, hey, I had this call. This is what happened. This is what I think I could have done differently. What do you think? So now you're coaching yourself and you're improving on your own on your own with call reviews. So there's two modes of review. So we talked about this at the start. Depends like where you are in your development. We have manager-led reviews. So this will be early on. You'll listen to the call with your manager together. We'll use the process checklist as the scoring guide. So I don't have that here, but this it'll be a document that's available to you. The manager will point out missed moments and openings, and then you'll reflect on what you were thinking in the moment. We'll talk through that, why you didn't dig into things deeper, and then we'll identify 1 to 2 highest leverage fixes moving forward and what you can work on, what you could drill, how we can improve, and then you'll commit to one specific change for the next call. So as you see from call to call, you'll get much better and hopefully you won't make the same mistake. So moving into like self-directed review. So you'll pull a recorded call from the week, ideally one that didn't, it doesn't have to be one that didn't close, but I think there's more learning from those ones. So ones that didn't close, ones that maybe you struggled with, and we'll have you review it. You'll use the checklist provided by the process checklist to maybe not score yourself, but just give feedback. It's not like a 1 out of 5 or 7 out of 10 or whatever it may be. It's more so like, hey, did we hit on motivation? Did we dig here? What were the words that they were saying? And what did we get out of it? We're going to use a transcription to scan for missed breadcrumbs. you'll ask yourself like, hey, where did I move on too fast? Where did I lose them? What objection was I not able to deal with? You'll find your biggest miss, you'll write it down, and then you'll bring that moment to your manager to discuss, to game plan, to figure out how you'll be better the next time. So what are you listening for? So again, we have the process checklist, which will be given to you. Intro and setting expectations. Did I set a clear agenda and get permission to present? Did I establish urgency? Did I get a yes or no, you're ready to sell, right? Next, we have motivation. Did I ask what has I'm thinking about selling and actually dig into that and go beyond just surface level? Did I ask about impact and not just the situation? Did I get to the feeling of why they want to sell, what it would mean to them if they were able to sell, what's next for them? Did I uncover, picture perfect, what happens after the sale, that sort of thing. And then the roadblocks. Did you cover all 4 roadblocks? Discomfort, influencers, timeline, and money, right? Did you double and triple check discomfort and influencers, timeline, money? Did you test the water for a ballpark number? And then objection handling, right? You're going to I'll actually talk about this in a second. So objection handling. Did you stay calm? Did an objection throw you off the script? Did you go for no if there are objections? Did you use a third-party story to lower resistance? And then lastly, close and credibility. Did you set up a call with a specific time? Did you walk through credibility? Did you get a genuine yes or no decision on the offer call? So as you can see, there's a lot of different areas within a process call that will move the needle from poor to decent to good to great. And we'll work on, excuse me, we'll work on all of these and train you up on all of these and get you a lot of reps on all of these. But you also need to be able to review your own calls and recognize where you're coming up short so that we could train on that specifically. So the next call is much better. And if we do this day after day, week after week, month after month, that compounding effect will have you closing deals in no time. All right, rules, common mistakes. You really want to review calls within 24 hours. Memory fades fast, and you may not remember exactly what you were thinking in the moment. So you want to be able to get to them quicker or sooner rather than later. You want to be honest about scoring yourself. In fact, I would say probably score yourself harder or harsher because you want to find every area of improvement. So then we can work on that, drill it, so it becomes a strength. So we have both audio where you can listen to the call and the transcriptions. You can catch different things in each. Obviously, with the transcription, you could go through specific areas and catch words, and I find that it's significantly faster. And the way we have it set up is when you upload the transcription, you can actually click into wherever it is in the transcription and you'll hear the audio. So I prefer that versus listening to a 40-minute call because you can go through very quickly and just skip some sections or spot check some sections and how you said it and what your tone was. If you don't have a lot of time, focus on one section per review. If time's short, go deep on one thing. So typically, I would say the highest leverage thing here, what we really want to get on the calls are motivation and roadblocks. So go into motivation, listen to that, listen to roadblocks, and make sure that you covered everything that you wanted to cover. Write down your biggest miss before you close a call, and then bring a specific timestamp to your next manager review, not a vague feeling. Say on this call at 17:34, I felt like I could have asked this, and this. So common mistakes: skipping review because the call went well. Good calls have misses too. Even though you may have closed the deal, we still want to listen if there's areas for improvement because that'll help us grow quicker. Don't review common mistakes when you're reviewing calls that are lost. You need to understand why you win too. So this is a good example, right? We don't want to just look at the negatives. Like there may be calls that are good and you could listen to those and be like, okay, I understand why this was good. And I'm going to repeat this on the next one. Don't use the review to beat yourself up. It's not an exercise to just basically say how bad you are, right? We've all been through it. We've all struggled. But the idea is that this will help you grow and give you opportunities for feedback much quicker, which will help you get better faster. Reading the transcript without listening, tone and pacing don't show up in text. Like I said, you can see both the transcript and listen to it at the same time. Identify 10 things to fix instead of committing to one. You're going to have a lot of things to fix, and you can keep a running track. And we could go one thing, knock that out, practice that for a week, and hopefully it doesn't show up again, and then move on to the next one. And you'll start to see common themes and patterns in your calls that you will need to spend more time with. And then lastly, don't wait for your manager to tell you what's wrong. Bring the call to your manager or say, hey, I had this call. Here's a transcript. This is what I'm thinking. What do you think? All right, drill it. So what you want to do is pull a recorded call, ideally one that didn't close or felt off, open it alongside the process checklist. Listen through, and you could do this different ways depending on how, like, if it's 30 minutes, but listen through without stopping. Note the overall feel. Where did the energy drop? Where did the seller disengage? Where did you lose them? What could you have said differently? Go back through the section by section with the checklist. Score each area, like hit, partial, missed, be honest. Um, what I would say is like beside not listening through once without stopping, like listen in sections and then call out breadcrumbs, missed opportunities, and then in the checklist you'll be able to, as it comes together, you'll be able to see your misses. Use a transcription to scan for breadcrumbs you didn't pick up, moments where the seller showed pain, hesitation, or a hint of motivation you moved past, and then write down the biggest miss. Don't do a full list. Like obviously the transcript will talk about, or the process checklist will have everything in there, but figure out what you're going to do differently on the next call. So transcription tip, search the transcript for words like actually, I mean, kind of, I guess, maybe. So these are non-committal words, right? Actually, I mean, not really, but like it's like kind of, I guess, sure, maybe, right? We want to call that out in real time. Um, and then that's it. So, yeah, good luck. Let me know any questions.